Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I have another family favorite recipe, and it's called baked stuffed chicken thighs. Sült Töltött Csirke. So what you will need for this recipe is 4 chicken thighs, 4 celery stalks, 1 medium onion, 1 small bunch of fresh parsley, 3 cloves of garlic, 6 medium Kaiser buns, 3 whole eggs, and 3/4 cups of milk. And then for the spices, you would need 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of vegeta or vegetable base, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sweet paprika, and I'm using Hungarian sweet paprika today. And then, of course, the 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and that will be divided into 3 and 3 for the meat and for the frying of the celery, onions, and garlic and parsley. So what I did first was I diced the celery and onions and garlic and parsley into small pieces, and in a small medium frying pan I fried the celery and onions and garlic at a medium heat in 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So I'm using half the vegetable oil. As I mentioned, I have 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil in this recipe. And then I add the parsley and continue to fry for an additional 2 minutes. So what you want to do is you want to fry down the celery, onions, and garlic, and fry them until they're nice and soft. And then add your parsley at the last 2 minutes, and then fry them quickly. And then in a large mixing bowl, I add all of these ingredients. So this is the onion and parsley and garlic and celery. So I've got that all fried up and ready to go into the ground beef. So I've got the ground beef, and now you can do this with lean ground beef if you want to. And so I've got about half a kilogram of that. So I'm going to add this to the ground beef. And then I'm going to mix the ingredients together, so into the ground beef. And I make sure that all of these ingredients are mixed together. And then what I've done is I've torn apart some Kaiser buns. I'm just bringing them from the fridge here to show you. And I've soaked them in 3/4 cups of water, or not water, milk, sorry. And then I'm going to show you what I did with the eggs. So I took 3 eggs and I beat them with a fork until they were frothy. And then I'm going to add the Kaiser buns and the beaten eggs and all the seasonings into the ground beef mixture, except for the paprika. So I'm going to use the paprika for the top of the chicken before I put it into the oven. So I'm going to add my soaked Kaiser buns. So it's like a stuffing. I'm making a stuffing. This is my mom's all-time favorite stuffing, and my grandmother would make her stuffing like this too for her meats. You know, whenever she was baking chicken or duck or any poultry type animals, she would do that. So I'm going to mix that together, and then I'm going to add the 3 eggs, and they're beaten with a fork until they're frothy. And then I just mix this together. Then I'm going to be adding the spices to it. And I've got 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of Vegeta. This is what I use in a lot of my recipes. You can get this probably at your local deli store or an international type of store where they sell international foods and spices. Or you can just use your favorite vegetable base if you can't get a hold of that. And then I use, of course, sea salt. I always use sea salt. And a teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, and I'm going to mix all this together, and this becomes a stuffing for the chicken. Now this dish can be served with mashed potatoes. It can also be served with rice or pasta. I'm going to be serving with mashed potatoes today. Today is our national holiday in Canada. It's Thanksgiving. So I'd like to wish all the people in Canada a happy Thanksgiving. I know that in the United States they celebrate in November, so this would be a great recipe that you could use there and for any time. I think this stuffing is great for serving for special occasions, any special occasion that you have coming up. Stuffed chicken. So we've kind of decided to do stuffed chicken thighs this year for Thanksgiving, but traditionally we would eat turkey, just for something a little bit different. But this can also be used for your turkey recipe also. And this, you know, for Christmas or any special celebration that you have, that you celebrate throughout the year. So I've got that well mixed together. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my chicken and wash them. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do as to how to stuff the chicken. So I've got the skin pulled up on one of these. I just wanted to show you how this is done. So, and I've got my food, handling gloves, so I'm going to use that to do this, the stuffing of the chicken. So, and this is this recipe is probably for about 4 people, and you could double the recipe here if you're expecting a large group of people. You could double the recipe or triple the recipe, and make more, depending on how many people you're expecting for guests. And then I'm just going to stuff these with a stuffing, and I'm going to put them under the skin of the chicken. I'm going to stuff in as much as possible in there, and then you just put it in your stuffing there. So that's what it looks like on the inside. So you would lift the skin up and then you would stuff it with the stuffing. So I'm going to do another one here. And whatever leftover stuffing you have, you just put it like just in between the. Somebody might want. That's my oven going off, and I've preheated the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just going to do the other one. So you can make as many as you want. You can use lean beef if you want, I'm just going to Put as much stuffing in there as possible. And whatever leftover stuffing you have, you can actually even put it into a one of those loaf pans and cook it, because some people like to have extra stuffing. But my mother usually put it in between the. So this is great. Got more than enough stuffing here for extra helping if somebody wants it. I'm just going to put a little bit more in there. Okay, and this is it's a very tasty meal. And then, of course, any of the leftover stuffing, you just put it around in between the chicken like that. And that should bake. That's what my mother would do. Just put extra stuffing. Surrounding the chicken. And that'll bake just great. And you would bake it in a large roasting pan like this, and uncovered. You wouldn't cover the roasting pan. This is pretty much most of the stuffing. Probably be enough for 6 chickens, six thighs. But I've just chosen to do 4 today. I've got some extra stuffing there. So any leftover, and then it just bakes with the chicken in between the chicken. It gives it a really good flavor. Take these gloves off and just have you look at what I've done. So I've stuffed the chicken thighs, and then I've done little brown ball kind of patties for the stuffing. So I'm going to put this into the oven and bake it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes, and then another 30 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So it should be ready, and it's really important that you test with a meat thermometer to make sure that the meat is well cooked, the stuffing and the chicken. So I will be back. Actually, before I leave, I need to show you what you need to do lastly. So this is the ultimate best. This makes it really Hungarian kind of, with the sweet paprika on top, and it just gives it a brilliant color. So, and then you just sprinkle that all, even on the stuffing. You can put it on the stuffing. I've chosen to use a lot here for it. So I've got about 3 tablespoons of sweet paprika here. Now you can use less if you want. And just really put a lot of paprika all around the meat. It just gives it a great flavor to it. And then I sprinkle it with I'm just going to show you what this looks like before it goes into the oven. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of oil on the top. This is about 3 tablespoons of oil. It's a very tasty recipe. I'm just going to put my some more paprika on there. Okay, and then I'm going to put it into the oven. The oven has been preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'll lower the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'll be back to show you what this great recipe looks like with some mashed potatoes. And of course you could do the cucumber salad to go with it, or the cholamade, which is the mixed pickles, and or just do up your own favorite salads. Also, remember to add a half a cup of water to the bottom of the roasting pan, so in and around the roasting pan. Don't pour it over the paprika or the oil, because then it'll wash away the paprika. So add your half a cup of water to the chicken thighs and stuffing before you put it into the oven. So I'll be back to show you what this great recipe looks like. Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I had in the oven a recipe called baked stuffed chicken thighs and Sült Töltött Csirke. So I've had it in the oven for over an hour and 20 minutes. So what I did was I took it out after an hour, and then I tested it with a meat thermometer, and then I had to put it back into the oven for about an additional 20 minutes for it to reach the correct temperature. And I've got the temperatures in my recipes, correct temperatures for beef and chicken, so that you know when it is well cooked. So what I'd like to do is show you what this great recipe looks like coming out of the oven. And as you can see, there's the chicken thighs, and then of course the stuffing, which is the ground beef, and with all the seasoning and onions and celery and garlic and parsley. So my mom and grandmother would put parsley, fresh parsley, into their stuffing. So what I'd like to do is show you what this great recipe looks like on a plate, served with mashed potatoes. And so that's what we're going to be having for dinner tonight. And just to show you what this great recipe looks like. So it's can be served with mashed potatoes, and as you can see, the stuffing, and then the chicken thighs. And of course the chicken thigh has been stuffed with, in the inside here I lifted up the skin and I put some stuffing in there also. So and you can serve this with your favorite salad, or there's some salads on the website that you can use, like the cucumber salad or the cholamade. So I hope that you enjoy cooking this recipe for your family and friends. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at irene@irinkaskitchen.com or irinkaskitchen.com. Until next time, bon appetit, jó étvágyat!